Developing tonight, a Utah County teen is behind bars accused of sexually assaulting a young girl. How one deputy's quick thinking played a vital role in her rescue.
And dire straits as water levels in the Great Salt Lake continue to decline. Tonight, the measures some communities are taking to conserve every last drop. Fox 13 News at 9 starts in 60 seconds.
A Utah businesswoman using her education to sell smoothies, speeches, and medical advice. The problem?
She has a reputation for spinning the truth.
Do you have a PhD?
Yes.
I called them and they said they don't have any record of you having a PhD.
I don't know what to tell you.
Fox 13's Adam Herbets exposes how this self-credentialed health expert
It just feels like she's gone too far.
used falsities to grow a following. Fox 13 investigates The Green Smoothie Girl, Thursday at 9 on Fox 13 News. Go beyond the headlines with Fox 13 News 360 reports.
We do not want to be known as Dry Lake City.
Highlighting the local issues that deserve a deeper dive.
How can we make sure to sustain living wages?
Where we cover every angle of Utah's biggest topics.
Things just get busier and busier. The visitor experience goes down.
When it's important to Utah.
When women do run, they tend to win.
Get the whole story.
Through adversity comes great things.
360 reports, only on Fox 13 News.
Child is involved, you dig a little deeper.
A traffic stop here in Utah County revealing the potential dangers of children sharing too much information on social media. What investigators learned about how the two met and their advice for parents.
Water levels are reaching historic lows. I'll have more on the restrictions you'll have to follow depending where you live.
Tracking quite a few clouds here across the state and some chances for rain. I'll let you know the timing of our next couple of storms and what you can expect for weekend plans.
A busy garbage man always making time for his country. How one Emery County veteran sent a message to his community without even knowing it.
We start Fox 13 News at 9 with breaking news in West Jordan, where police say a juvenile is dead after being hit by a pickup truck while riding his bike.
Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser joins us live from the scene right now. Emily, what are police saying tonight?
That's right, Bob and Kelly. We're still waiting for more information from West Jordan Police, but here's what we know so far. We know it happened in this intersection around 6 o'clock near the Home Depot in West Jordan. That's near 1510 9000 South. The pickup driver who hit that minor took off. Witnesses and responding officers performed CPR on the victim until West Jordan Fire arrived. The unidentified minor was pronounced dead at Intermountain Medical Center.
This is not how any parent wants to learn how they've lost their child, and we just don't understand why someone would hit any person and leave that person mortally wounded in the roadway without any attempts to help save that person.
Police say the suspect was driving a light-colored Chevy pickup truck with a mounted ladder rack and equipment in the back of the truck. Officers are currently trying to identify the minor killed. If you have any information that could help investigators at this time, call West Jordan Police. Also, if you're driving anywhere near this area, just a heads up, blocks, intersections and streets are totally blocked out right now as they're investigating this scene. We'll make sure to keep you updated once we learn more. Reporting live in West Jordan, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Emily, thank you. Now to our other top story tonight. We're learning more about an alleged kidnapping and sexual assault in Utah County involving a 17-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl.
Fox 13 News anchor Brian Schnee joins us live from Spanish Fork after speaking with the sheriff's deputy who pulled over the suspect early this morning. Brian.
Bob and Kelly, good evening. It was that lieutenant's intuition that prompted them to basically investigate further into this situation that stemmed from that traffic stop involving a teenage boy behind the wheel and a young girl in the passenger seat.
I drive that road every morning. The norm is to get up early and have a regular routine. Car seemed out of place this morning, and I thought it warranted more attention.
Lieutenant Tom Hodgson has decades of law enforcement experience. It's his gut feeling while on patrol Tuesday morning that uncovered something much bigger.
I thought that was odd at 5:10 in the morning to be in a closed business. I drove past the vehicle initially,
made a decision to turn around and go check on it.
As he turned back, the vehicle was on Main Street in Spanish Fork heading the other direction, traveling roughly 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. Lieutenant Hodgson conducted a traffic stop.
Had some hesitancy answering basic questions.
Hodgson said neither the male driver nor female passenger could provide identification.
Initially, the stories just weren't consistent. Things weren't adding up, and so I decided to dig into it a little deeper.
The driver also couldn't provide paperwork for the vehicle or say who owned it. With some help from Riverton police, they learned the car was stolen out of Salt Lake County early Tuesday morning. Initially,
he told me an age, which turns out he was not of that age. The young lady told me her age, which ended up she was a 12-year-old female. She did not tell me that age initially.
Police say before the traffic stop,
when a child is involved, you dig a little deeper.
The boy sexually assaulted the girl. According to police, the 17-year-old boy met the 12-year-old on social media, and they've known each other for about 2 months. The boy came to pick up the girl at her home around 4 a.m.
He saw some basic things that were just out of whack, and he was able to identify something was wrong.
Detective Ray Flores has worked around children, specifically teenagers, during his time assigned as a school resource officer.
You have people that will fish for younger juveniles than themselves, and they'll seek out the vulnerable ones. They'll seek out the ones that look like they have problems at home or are expressing those problems from their households, and they play off of that. They're the friend, they understand where they're coming from, they misrepresent their age, they send pictures that are not actually of themselves.
Detective Flores advises parents to monitor their children's electronic communications, whether it be text messages or on social media platforms.
When you've been doing this job as long as I have, and you're in the law enforcement world, we develop a soft spot for children, and we want to do everything we can to protect those children.
A Utah County Sheriff's deputy booked that 17-year-old boy into a detention center in Provo on charges of vehicle theft, kidnapping, among other charges. Now, Spanish Fork police is investigating the alleged sex crimes. Live in Spanish Fork tonight, Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
New at 9, a psychologist weighs in on the events today surrounding that teenage boy accused of kidnapping the 12-year-old girl. Fox 13 News spoke with child and family psychologist Dr. Douglas Goldsmith. He said children in elementary and junior high should share their online interactions. They should have them monitored regularly, but that once a child is in high school, they tend to have more complex interactions online. Goldsmith warned of a relaxed attitude coming from some parents with regards to their child's internet use.
So we've started to be, I think, pretty casual about it without some kind of signs that say, wait a second, this email doesn't look right, or maybe this is a scam. I think people are getting more used to that. But this has become a day-to-day use.
Within the last 6 months, there have been at least 2 documented cases in Utah of young people encountering their kidnappers online. Now, in both of these instances, the victims were found safe. Goldsmith calls the events of today a wake-up call to parents. If you would like to file a complaint for any internet-related crime, you can do so online with the Internet Crime Complaint Center. You can find them at ic3.gov.
Well, it's not even May, and cities around Utah are already rolling out water restrictions. Some say these are the strictest yet.
Before switching to breaking news tonight, Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser spoke with community leaders about the rules you may have to follow.
A dry, empty splash pad is all you're going to get in Riverdale this summer as cities do what they can to save water.
This year's much worse than we've ever had before. Typically, we're in the 20% reduction. This year, we're in 60%.
Scott Paxman with Weber Basin Water says reservoirs are sitting around 39% capacity. This year, the Conservancy District is turning on secondary water a month later and turning it off a month earlier.
We usually have the winter and the snowpack, and so our reservoirs are gaining significantly, but not this year.
Weber Basin Water customers can only water lawns once a week on assigned watering days, and that's timed too. Riverdale City also issued the same restrictions and will be reducing indoor usage by 10%.
Here at Riverdale Park and Golden Spike Park, they'll continue to be watered regularly so the community can use them for events and to play, but other city-owned landscaping will stick to resident restrictions.
The city of Lehigh has the same rules to follow. Assistant City Administrator Cameron Boyle says they're in a severe shortage, reaching phase 3 water restrictions.
Yeah, this is the most restrictive that we have as far as our tiers for watering restrictions.
Starting in May, Lehigh residents can only water their lawns twice a week and no hard surface washing.
No spraying off your driveway if it's dusty or those types of things.
Lehigh homeowners and Weber Basin water customers could face fines if the rules aren't followed.
We really need to get people's attention to try to comply with the restrictions because we just don't have the water.
Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, we had cloud cover as we could see today, but at least it was not very cold.
No, it was really warm today, and we'll have another warm day tomorrow. Let me go ahead and show you what's happening here on satellite and radar. So a lot of clouds up into Idaho along the Wasatch Front, south end of the Salt Lake Valley into Tooele County, down into Utah County, and then even into southern Utah, a lot of clouds. We are seeing a few areas of green on radar, so up towards Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, through there up towards Ridgefield along I-70. Could see some very light drizzle, but overall just expect a cloudy start tomorrow. Low 50s when you first wake up, 7 a.m. Cloudy sky by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, temperatures into the mid to upper 50s. And then for a high tomorrow, we're going to have temps into the 70s. We'll have more clouds during the morning, less during the afternoon, but we do have the chance for some isolated showers tomorrow. Tracking a couple of storms impacting the state. I'll let you know when and where you could see some rain coming up.
It's not just a piece of fabric. Why one Emery County veteran wants everyone to properly retire their American flags.
We continue to follow breaking news in West Jordan, where police say a 13-year-old boy was hit and killed while riding his bike tonight.
There is a press conference happening right now. We just missed it. West Jordan police just announced the suspect in this case has been found. Let's listen in.
Stay. You have to stay and talk to those people. It's against the law, and it's just not right. Please stay and make sure that the people are okay, that the other drivers are taken care of, that the property's taken care of. That's the right thing to do. And unfortunately, this 13-year-old was killed. Would that driver leaving have saved that kid? We don't know, but you just can't leave a person mortally wounded in the road and not even check to see if that person's okay. That's just wrong.
Was there surveillance video, or did witnesses take video of this happening?
And I know the officer's been speaking with a lot of witnesses to see if they've got dash cam, what kind of video they might have. There's a lot of businesses in this area that do have cameras. Whether those cameras pick up this intersection or not, they're still working to collect that information.
And I know this happened around 6. Around what time were you guys able to find that suspect?
The suspect would have been taken into custody probably within the last 40 minutes. So, again, they worked right after they started getting that information, looking for that vehicle up until the time they located him. So here we are about 9 o'clock, so they spent over 2 hours trying to track that suspect down.
So once again, I know you gave a primary answer to this, but did he turn himself in, or was he apprehended?
No, he was apprehended. Our officers went to him and they sought him out. He did not turn himself in. He made no attempts to turn himself in.
Can we get an age at all? Or
I'm sorry, I don't even have it. I don't even have that.
But it's like a man, it's not a teenager?
It is a male. I don't have an age. It is not a juvenile, but it is a male. I just don't have his age.
And that 13-year-old who was just riding his bike, was he going anywhere, or I know you said he lived nearby?
He lived nearby. His parents did say that he was going to...
All right, Officer Sam Winkler with the West Jordan Police Department, the public information officer, telling us that indeed it was a 13-year-old West Jordan boy who was killed in that hit-and-run accident tonight, or about 6 o'clock tonight, and that a suspect is in custody.
Yeah, that suspect initially fled the scene. The accident happened right in the intersection of 15th West and 90th South, again in West Jordan. The boy died at the hospital after being transported. That suspect fled the scene. He was taken into custody in Saratoga Springs.
That's right. In fact, witnesses to the accident actually followed the suspect, got the license plate on the white-colored pickup truck, and turned that into police. And as you heard Officer Winkler just saying, it took police until about 40 minutes ago to track that suspect down and take him into custody, as far as we know, without incident out in Saratoga Springs.
Officer Winkler there also noting that if a tragedy like this was to ever happen and you being involved, to stay on scene. Of course, do not flee the scene whatsoever. And just such a tragic case right now, as we know a 13-year-old boy has lost his life tonight while riding his bike in West Jordan. He was in a crosswalk when he was struck.
We will continue to follow this story, gather more information for you in regard to who this young victim was, and also information about the suspect involved in this, and of course have that for you on the air here if it happens in the next 40 minutes or so, or online at fox13now.com.
In other news today, tributes keep pouring in to honor the legacy of the late former Utah Senator Orrin Hatch.
Utah Senator Mike Lee spoke on the Senate floor today in honor of Hatch, who was the longest-serving Republican senator in history, 42 years. Hatch also served as the Senate President pro tem for 4 years, making him the second highest-ranking official in the Senate and putting him third in line of presidential succession. Senator Lee recognized the spirit of the late senator by recalling his days as an amateur boxer.
He developed the reputation of a fighter, and while a dedicated friend with an inviting laugh, he would never forget the lessons he had learned young while in the amateur boxing ring.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox and former Governor Gary Herbert also shared thoughts on Orrin Hatch in separate statements. Both men highlighted Hatch's dedication to service.
Well, it's a cloudy day here across the state. A series of weak storms brushing by. A stronger storm moves in as we head into Thursday night into Friday. But Thursday morning we wake up, still a lot of clouds here across the state, and we have very strong winds expected. Next system's going to brush by to our north Friday. Could see some areas of valley rain and mountain snowfall out of this across northern Utah. That quickly moves out early Saturday morning. Then we see another system brushing by as we head into Sunday night. Could see some areas of rain and snow out of that for northern Utah. Then they're just lining up by next Thursday, 9 a.m. Now, none of these storms look to be major, but they are going to be enough to bring us some chances for precipitation at times. Not a whole lot of it, though. As we look at satellite and radar here across Utah, we are seeing mostly clouds here along the Wasatch Front from Utah County up through the Salt Lake Valley, up through Layton, Ogden, Brigham City, Cache Valley. We do have a few areas of light drizzle, but the biggest impact that we'll see the next few days will definitely be our wind, especially into Thursday. And then we'll see some better chances for rain and snow Thursday night into early Friday. So tomorrow at 2 p.m., what you're seeing in yellow here across Utah, that does include I-15 and across central Utah from Salt Lake County down towards I-70. Wind gusts tomorrow 25 to 35 miles per hour. But take a look at your screen into Thursday afternoon. All of I-15 for the most part through Utah, and I-70 looking at wind gusts around 35 to 45 miles per hour, highlighted in red. So we'll have a lot of wind into Thursday afternoon, so some fire concerns. And then tomorrow morning here in Salt Lake City, our temperatures will be right around 50 degrees when you first wake up, into the 60s late morning, and then highs tomorrow will be into the 70s. So it'll be a very pleasant day. At 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, it'll be upper 40s for Price, Provo, Eagle Mountain, low 50s for Tooele, Salt Lake, and Ogden. Highs tomorrow, 72 degrees here in Salt Lake City. We'll have more clouds in the morning, more sun during the afternoon, and potentially a few isolated showers across northern and central Utah by 4 p.m. So temperatures tomorrow near 70. Chance of precipitation starts to go up Thursday night into Friday. That's going to be scattered to widespread. Lower chances for some rain returns Saturday night through next week. St. George, you're in the 80s through Thursday. Windy on Thursday. Close to 85 this weekend with sunshine. Here in Salt Lake, 70s for Wednesday, Thursday, 50s on Friday, a lot cooler. 60s return this weekend. Let's talk more about that active pattern coming up later in the hour.
See you then, Allison. Thanks. Still ahead, the DABC wants public input on 9.5 bar licenses it can legally award, all thanks to legislative changes. How you can share your opinions on what the commission should do with them. Oh, you've got to see this story. One Emery County garbage man is sharing a patriotic message after unknowingly being recorded taking an American flag out of someone's trash.
Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree shows us how this veteran serves his country and his community in a way that is positively Utah.
I'm the go-to guy. Something needs done, they come to me and I take care of it.
Don Gardner spends anywhere from 8 to 12 hours in his truck every day.
I've stayed pretty busy.
Picking up garbage cans from hundreds of homes all over Emery and Carbon counties.
He'll probably just recognize that Grandma hasn't got the garbage can out on the end of the street, and he'll actually get out of the vehicle and go get it and bring it to the street, then just drive by.
Gardner doesn't have the need or the time to get out of the truck to pick up all the garbage cans, but he will on occasion if he spots that familiar piece of red, white, and blue fabric peeking out from under the lid.
I took an oath once to defend this country and our flag, and I still do.
Last week, a neighbor spied the Marine Corps veteran taking an American flag out of the trash and folding it.
He pulls up, he gets out of his truck, and he gets out. And I'm thinking, what is he doing? And then immediately I was so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was petrified because I'm like, I'm married to a veteran. What am I doing?
Brooke Cowley shared the video on Facebook, admitting to accidentally throwing away the flag and admiring her garbage man's actions.
I wanted our community to really see what he did and to see the care and the love that he gave our flag. And I wanted them to see and to give him the respect that he gave to our flag.
Those who've known the man nicknamed Munch in high school for his small size weren't shocked to see the video.
I just thought, that is who Don is, That didn't surprise me that he did it because he is a veteran. I think when you're from a small town, you kind of have a love for your country and for the flag.
Gardner had no idea he was caught on camera.
That's just something I do.
He's saved at least a dozen flags from the landfill in his 11 years on the job.
It makes me mad. I get angry. Sometimes it's a mistake. Most of the time it's on purpose. I have a problem with that. So I just take it out, take care of it.
The veteran wants people to know there's a right way to say goodbye to an American flag.
Anybody in Emery County that knows me, if you don't know what to do with it, get it to me. I'll make sure it's taken care of proper.
No matter how busy this garbage man gets, he'll always make time for his country. In Huntington, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thank you, Don. If you have an American flag to dispose of, contact your local American Legion post. They do yearly flag burning ceremonies.
Coming up in our next half hour, the Great Salt Lake may be in jeopardy if action is not taken. The grim projections experts shared with the Salt Lake County Council today.
Anytime we see injustice, that we need to speak up and speak out.
The Davis School District is making good on its commitment to focus on racial equity and inclusion training. I'll tell you how they're doing it in just a few.
And could Donovan Mitchell be out with an injury for Game 6 of the Jazz's playoff series against the Dallas Mavericks? How the team is responding ahead in sports.
From 3-point distance tonight.
Welcome back, everyone. The Great Salt Lake is projected to hit a new record low this year. State officials gave the bad news to Salt Lake County Council members today.
But as Fox 13 News political reporter Ben Winslow shows us, some say it's not too late to save the lake.
We are anticipating that, given the snowpack, it will likely hit a new low this year.
That's not good.
It's not good at all.
The Great Salt Lake is projected to drop another 2 feet this year to a new historic low.
We may be setting a new historic low record.
The Great Salt Lake coordinator for Utah's Department of Natural Resources briefed the Salt Lake County Council on the situation Tuesday. The news alarmed council members.
The environmental, the quality of life, the impact of the Great Salt Lake becoming the Aral Sea will be catastrophic, and life as we know it will be altered much differently.
The lake has dropped 11 feet already since it was first measured back in the 1800s. It's a result of water diversion for development, drought, and climate change. This presents an existential crisis for the state. A dried up lake could create toxic dust storms, dramatically reduce our snowpack, and cause billions of dollars in damage to the economy.
This is a moment for us all to move quickly. Sort of like this idea of climate change. I think for a long time we debated whether or not it was real. It's real. We have a water problem. We need to consume less, and we need to do it now.
But political leaders are working quickly to save the Great Salt Lake. The legislature passed water conservation laws and voted to spend hundreds of millions for conservation measures, including new efforts to get water into the Great Salt Lake.
I think this year during the legislative session, it gave us a huge jump start, and we're getting a lot of these things and putting a lot of these things in motion as a result of the legislation. But there'll always be room for more.
What will also help is if Utahns do more to conserve water.
Not just cheerleading about conservation or praying for it, but making it happen through regulatory actions, if you need to, is absolutely critical if we're going to deal with our water crisis, not only for the Great Salt Lake, but for the population.
Salt Lake County's mayor is pleading with people to take the situation seriously.
Please do your fair share. Residents, do your fair share. Businesses, do your fair share on this reduction. The other thing we can do is look at our own practices. And we have a lot of parks. We have a lot of golf courses.
Utah's governor has already declared a state of emergency, with cities and local water districts already starting to implement restrictions ahead of the hot summer months. At the Salt Lake County Government Complex, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Utah's Liquor Control Authority is taking public comment on what to do with its new bar licenses. The legislature refused to create new licenses in the past session, but lawmakers did rework hotel licenses, which freed up 9.5 licenses for the DABC to now hand out starting this June. Now, the half license, it's a seasonal one. It's good for about 6 months. At today's meeting, the DABC Commission chair said that he hopes the legislature still addresses this long-term problem.
Utah expects to have over 4 million people at the end of the decade, and it's got to be assumed that some of those people will be wanting to purchase alcohol and to enjoy alcohol responsibly in bars, and so we're going to have to come up with some answers.
Governor Cox has supported increasing the number of bar licenses in Utah.
It's been about 6 months since the Davis School District agreed to change for the better after the Department of Justice settlement.
Fox 13 News reporter Eliana Sheriff shares how the Davis School District is now making good on its commitment to be more inclusive and equitable.
It's important to make sure that every student feels safe in our school. When students feel safe, they enjoy coming to school.
In the past 6 months, the Davis School District has proactively focused on healing, training over 9,800 employees to prevent and address racial harassment and discriminatory discipline.
Anytime we see injustice, that we need to speak up and speak out.
Over 100 coaches and staff watched a documentary Monday about racial injustice and bias. The Loyola Project tells the story of a 1963 championship basketball team and their battle against racism and inequality on and off the basketball court. A former coach himself, District Superintendent Reed Newey, brought the film to Utah after seeing it last month.
One of the things that I really got out of it was the different perspectives that are felt that maybe we might not ever imagine. Those are the perspectives someone else sees when we're all going through an experience together.
Following the documentary, a panel, including Governor Cox's senior advisor on equity and opportunity, spoke to the high school coaches and athletic directors.
The takeaway that I hope they get from it is to reflect and to realize the significance experience plays on all of us.
One of the other initiatives that's been going on for the last few months is the No More Not Here video series, and they'll be releasing their final video next month, and students say it's making a difference.
No more not here. We shouldn't use words that hurt others. Then I would tell an adult about it.
It's resonating with our students and in our community. Others throughout the state and nation are using the videos now as well.
The district also created an Office of Equal Opportunity with staff that will receive, investigate, and resolve complaints of racial harassment and discrimination.
There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So we are going together.
In Farmington, Eliana Sheriff, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The remains of a U.S. soldier killed during the Korean War are now here in Utah. Army Corporal David Milano from Chicago was reported missing in action December 2nd, 1950, after his unit was attacked by enemy forces near the Chosin River in North Korea. The plane carrying his remains landed at Salt Lake International Airport today, where his family received them.
When we first got the news, it set in, and now with the plane landing and the coffin coming off the plane, for me, that's where it really hit me.
It's like unbelievable that he's here after all these years, but my mama always had faith and hope.
Corporal Milano will be buried with military honors at Evergreen Memorial Park in Ogden this Friday.
Champ never had a bad day. He never did. He loved everything he did.
1 month before a dirt bike accident ultimately took his life, this Southern Utah teen made a selfless decision that would impact countless others.
A Southern Utah teen was removed from life support over the weekend, 3 weeks after suffering a traumatic brain injury in a dirt bike accident.
Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold spoke with the teen's grandfather, who says his grandson lived life like a champ.
He is everything that a mother or father would want in a child.
This is 15-year-old Champson Ray Sally, affectionately known as Champ.
As his dad would say, Champ never had a bad day. He never did.
Champ's parents describe him as magnanimous, selfless, and a sweet soul. Those qualities seen in this video when Champ was just 9 years old after receiving a brand new dirt bike.
I don't feel like I deserve to have it.
Oh, don't cry. This is Champ riding his dirt bike.
Champ's grandfather, Ray Sally, says that dirt biking was something he was truly passionate about.
He was riding his bike the day that he had his injury. He was actually on a mountain trail, a very flat mountain trail.
Ray says his grandson was fully protected and wearing a helmet like he always did when he was thrown from his bike on that ride earlier this month. The accident leaving Champ with a traumatic brain injury and compressed spine fracture. His mother telling Fox 13 News he was making progress at Primary Children's Hospital until suffering a stroke. After 3 weeks in the hospital, family made the difficult decision to take Champ off life support.
We didn't receive the ultimate miracle that we wanted, but we know that Champ received the ultimate miracle that his Father in heaven had for him, that his life was not lived in vain.
Now the St. George teen is giving the gift of life to others. Shortly before the accident, Ray says his grandson had gotten his learner's permit and checked the box to be an organ donor.
There is a recipient for his lungs that has been on the donor list for quite a number of months now that had some kind of a rare condition, and Champ was a perfect match for this person.
Something that gives just a little comfort to a heartbroken family.
He was a healthy, active, athletic boy with strong organs that will make a difference in somebody's life.
Champ's grandfather tells me he's looking at starting a foundation that will help those affected by traumatic brain injuries. He says he plans to call it Live Like a Champ in hopes of carrying on his grandson's legacy. In downtown Salt Lake City, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
If you're ever in a car crash and you need to get cut out of your car, a piece of equipment called the Jaws of Life are essential. The rude awakening for one Southern Utah fire department and how much it will cost to replace this piece of equipment.
John Morant had an amazing dunk tonight. You won't want to miss it. And what's the status for Donovan Mitchell for Game 6 after walking off the court with an injury on Monday? We'll have an injury update coming up in sports.
We are so glad you could join us for Fox 13 News at 9 this evening. It's been a temperate day today, warm even, up into the 70s.
Yeah.
Utah's Weather Authority, Allison Croghan's going to have your Forecast in just a few minutes.
In the meantime, a critical piece of life-saving equipment has been taken from a fire station in southern Utah.
Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph spoke with the fire chief, who says if this isn't returned, it will have a huge impact on the department and could cost lives.
You know, we're very surprised. This isn't the type of thing that you would expect from a fire department.
The Harmony Valley Fire District in New Harmony, Utah is a small department of only 17 volunteer firefighters. But for those firefighters, they're now out one of their most important pieces of equipment.
Yesterday, we came into the station and we discovered that the door was open on our apparatus here, and our extrication equipment, our Jaws of Life equipment, had been taken. So further checking around, it looked like somebody had pried open the front door and come in and got it. Just looks like that person knew exactly what they wanted and went directly there.
Acting Fire Chief Jim Banks says the theft happened between Sunday and Monday. Jaws of Life can be used for a lot of different things, but usually they're to save lives in a car crash.
The primary function is it spreads that we use for opening car doors and lifting vehicles, and the other part is a high-strength cutter that we can use for steering columns, roof posts. But it's a critical piece of equipment that we need for extrication.
And given the location of New Harmony,
we have a large stretch of the I-15 freeway that goes through town, so the vast majority of our calls are on the freeway and are often rescue related.
Not having this tool might be potentially deadly.
Sure, we can call another department, but they're going to be 15, 20 minutes away. And if we have somebody that's trapped in a vehicle and needs emergency care, and that's the only way that we can get them out, it really could make the difference between life and death.
The department paid $25,000 originally. Now the equipment is better, but that also means more expensive.
North of $30,000 to replace it.
For a department like yours to have to take that $30,000 hit, what would that do to you?
Our budget for our department is not very big, so I literally will probably take a third of our budget to replace it.
Here's a picture of the exact one that was stolen.
And it is marked. It does have HVFD or Harmony Valley Fire District on it.
So if you see it, you're asked to call law enforcement.
We've already had some people in our local community reach out to us that have been very concerned, and we're working with some of the manufacturers hoping that we can get a replacement as quickly as possible and find a solution, because we're definitely in need of replacing it.
Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Really nice day, moderate temperatures, a little breezy. It was deceiving because if you were inside and just looking out, it looked like it was going to be kind of chilly because it was very gray outside, Allison.
Yes, it was cloudy but very warm. Tomorrow morning, same thing. We will have some cooler temperatures by Friday. Scattered rain showers for northern Utah on and off here over the next few days. Then we'll have some really nice spring weather for you on Saturday and Sunday. Now, a normal high this time of year is 65 degrees. It'll be around 50 when you first wake up tomorrow morning. Notice more clouds through 10 a.m. Then during the second half of the day, we have a better chance for some sunshine to come peeking out. So satellite and radar view here across northern Utah. A lot of clouds even up into the Heber area. Some scattered areas of light drizzle. Nothing problematic. And really not a whole lot of accumulating precipitation possible over the next day. But overnight, when you wake up tomorrow morning, we've got the chance for a few areas of very light rain showers, mostly Salt Lake City north early in the morning, and temperatures will be right around 50 when you first wake up. Then tomorrow's forecast at a glance for Salt Lake 72, Ogden 70, and for Provo 73 degrees with mostly cloudy sky. For central and southwest Utah, St. George near 90, Richfield 74, Cedar City 72. And then across eastern Utah, temperatures in the mid-70s for Price and Vernal. Moab 82 degrees tomorrow. So as we track this futurecast view early tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., still that chance for some rain showers. Then we're going to see the wind picking up during the second half of the day. The chance for maybe a few isolated thunderstorms near the Idaho border. But wind is going to be stronger on Thursday. And then Thursday night is going to be our better chance into Friday to see some valley rain, mountain snowfall. We could have some brief slick travel for you through lunchtime on Friday for the mountains of northeastern Utah. Then by Sunday night into Monday, wind picks up again. We could see some more areas of rain here across northern Utah. But our rain projection over the next 48 hours, it's not great. for any accumulating rain. So what this would mean is less than 1/10 of an inch of rain up near the Idaho border. And then the rest of Utah, if you see some light rain, it's likely not going to stack up too much. For St. George, you're close to 85 tomorrow with sunshine. A little breezy at times, but windier on Thursday with 82 for a high. And then this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, back into the mid-80s. For Salt Lake City, our coolest day, our big cool down will be Thursday into Friday. So we're going to have those temperatures in the mid-50s for you on Friday and a chance for some early valley rain and mountain snowfall. Saturday 64, Sunday 63. So we're going to have a cool start to the weekend. Friday's maybe going to be a bit deceiving as well for what we're going to expect through the weekend, but you will end up with some nice spring conditions. By Monday, 72, and by next Tuesday, we're looking at a high of 60 with a few more chances for some rain. So 70s the next couple of days. Windy on Thursday, could see some even fire concerns here across the state. Big cool down for Friday, and then a nice weekend for Saturday and Sunday.
It was tough to watch Donovan Mitchell limp off the court last night in Dallas after the Jazz were blown out by the Mavericks. Now the Jazz face elimination. Fox 13's Andrea Urban has more.
A rough game for the Utah Jazz, making just 3 of 30 attempts from the three-point line. That's just 10%, which is one of the worst long-range percentages in NBA postseason history. Plus, Donovan Mitchell left the game with an injury. His MRI did come back negative. He has bilateral quadriceps contusions, and his status for Game 6 will be updated tomorrow. But he said last night he's ready to play.
I went up to try and finish, and it just tightened up on me, and I just couldn't run back on defense, so I had to come out.
What kind of concern do you have about your availability for Game 6?
I'll be fine. You know, this is the playoffs, so got to find a way.
We need to try to create for one another. Our whole group, our strength has been our versatility, the fact that we have multiple weapons. We have to be able to use that. It's extreme tonight, but it's some of the same things that we've talked about previously. We just need each other, and we need to play like that offensively. That kind of continuous movement and spacing and attacking and passing is what we need to be able to have success against this team.
First half especially, we got some open looks. We just didn't knock them down, and after that, you don't knock shots down, they knock shots down. It's deflating, but we got to just continue to move the ball. That's the biggest thing, and shots aren't falling, just trying to find ways to create. But on the flip side, guys, we didn't make a lot of shots, so they protected home court. They could have won by 50 tonight. At the end of the day, it's one game. We got to get back home and take care of it.
Game 6 is Thursday night right here in Salt Lake City. It's time for Utah to answer. Either they win and advance to see a Game 7, or they lose and the season comes to an end. Can they turn this train around? At Vivint Arena, Andrea Urban, Fox 13 Sports.
NBA playoffs tonight. Check out Ja Morant. Oh! Big time throwdown for the Grizzlies in Game 5 against the Timberwolves at the end of the third quarter. Minnesota down 3 in the closing seconds. Anthony Edwards hits a tough 3 to tie the score. 3.7 to play. Memphis got it to Morant, and he came through with the winning bucket. Grizzlies won at 111-109. They lead the series 3-2.
It was his night.
Yeah. In the East, the Heat trying to close out the series with the Hawks. Game 5, DeAndre Hunter with 3 of his 35 cut the Heat lead to 4 in the fourth, but Miami got it to Bam Adebayo for the jam. The Heat won it 97-94 to win this series 4-1. Ja Morant is the most improved player in the NBA. He was really good last year.
My goodness.
Boy, that dunk was fantastic.
It was. Number 5 had no chance in blocking that shot.
He'll be in a
And it was
poster
just
somewhere,
knocked down.
Man, it's shades of Michael Jordan.
Sure, yeah.
Wow, that is a big comparison. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep, we'll be right back.
Thank you so much for watching.
QuickCast is up next.